right now simply cannot get health care coverage. We need to have Medicaid expanded, and I appreciate his comments on that subject. I also heard the governor talk about the creation of jobs. I think the governor claimed credit for creating every single job that's been created in Ohio. And it's particularly interesting since I just heard of a national election where the Republicans were constantly saying that the government doesn't create jobs, but I'll let that go. The governor claimed that Jobs Ohio is working, which I find interesting since Jobs Ohio hasn't even been funded yet. And even if Jobs Ohio is working, it's impossible for us to know since there was no accountability, no sunshine. He even exempted Jobs Ohio from the ethics laws of the state. The governor talked a lot about a variety of things with great flowery language, but when you look behind it, the facts simply don't support his statement. So, for example, he talked about the importance of protecting Lake Erie, yet he signed one of the most harmful bills we've had in Ohio, allowing businesses to take virtually unlimited water out of the rivers pouring into the lake. And he failed to note the lack of environmental protections on the fracking that could also harm our water here in the state of Ohio. The governor talked about cutting personal income taxes and the tremendous job creation benefits that will have. It sounded a lot like 2005 when the Republicans also cut taxes, income taxes, promising the creation of tens and tens of thousands of jobs. And yet, when that tax cut was fully implemented, we were actually in a loss of jobs in the state of Ohio. What does bring jobs, by the way, to Ohio is good communities, good schools, and the governor has slashed the funding for both our kids in schools, leaving many kids in class sizes way too big, with schools that have cut programs for music and arts and physical education and all sorts of things. And he's cut funds for local governments that's resulted in many layoffs of police officers and firefighters around the state, leaving our communities less safe. The governor talked about the turnpike and bonding against the revenues. He talked about raising the tolls, which in and of itself is not necessarily very good for businesses in Ohio. But he failed to talk about the fact that he's going to borrow against future revenues in order to take the money from Northern Ohio and spread it around the state with no guarantees in this budget about where the monies go. And he talked not at all about how we're going to be able to continue to maintain and make improvements on the turnpike after the revenue is committed for all the future years that it will be. He talked about the third grade reading guarantee, which is very nice, and how important it is to have third graders read at a third grade level. Yet there was virtually no money in that when that was created, making it totally meaningless. And when you add on the fact that, in fact, not only was there not money, unlike Florida, which he pointed to, which devoted a great deal of money for extra tutors and other services that would have helped kids read, but in addition, he did mention the fact that not only did he mandate third grade reading without additional funds, but that was on top of the $1.9 billion or so of cuts to schools that same budget year. Finally, I'll close with noting that the governor talked about the importance of bipartisanship and how the public is fed up and tired with the hyperpartisanship in both Columbus and Washington. I agree with those comments. Unfortunately, what we're seeing is more of the same here in Ohio, more partisanship. We saw the efforts that we made to take partisanship out of the clerk's office in the House undone. With respect to the budget, several of our members just this last week came out and offered an olive branch indicating that we like the Medicaid expansion, that we can work with, that we hope to work with the governor and come up with some changes to his proposal that we could all support. And his comment was something like, these people have no credibility. He totally rejected the effort and has made no effort to work with us at all. With that, I'm happy to take questions.